All right. So we start just like we start our other Tai Chi work. Seated comfortably, hands resting somewhere natural. Nasal breathing, eyes closed. Aligning the body in such a way as to have the vertical axis from the tip top of the head crown straight through the center of the body, down through the perineum, the floor of the pelvis, in a good alignment. And relax shoulders. Let me spotlight my video here. I'm going to mute everybody. Feel free to unmute yourselves if you have a question of any kind. And Nick Warren, I see that you're here, but that your camera's off. So if you want to turn your camera on, you're welcome to. Or if you want to keep it off, that's fine. But you would turn it on by the bottom left corner of your laptop or your computer screen. There's a little start video choice there. So feel free to do that.
Hey,
hey, how are you?
Is it on?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay.
And unmuted. So.
It says unmuted.
Well, you're not muted now. You are not muted. I hear you.
And you want me to be muted?
Oh, and I got your email last night. I think it was saying that you might bow out about halftime.
Right.
Okay, but welcome.
I appreciate it.
Hi, Nick.
Hi. How are you? How was your trip?
I'm still on it. It's supposed to rain today, so we're having a rest day.
To hear more about it.
Great.
So you're ready to start. So
yeah. Comfortable seat. And again, what you need is, like, I have a chair there turned face away so that I can use the back of the chair for balance. You guys will need the same thing, something around that height that you can utilize. It could be a walker. It could be a cane eventually that's just there as like a nice support. But you need something because we challenge ourselves with some balance stuff. So nasal breathing, this is all sort of the universal practice, whatever you're practicing, whether it's just simple meditation. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. So yeah, whether it's simple meditation or yoga or Tai Chi, or even if you were getting ready to do some boxing or some weightlifting, it behooves you to take a second, eyes gently closed, looking inward at the body, noticing where maybe there's some excess gripping or holding or tension that you could maybe allow to release. Hi, Michelle. I'm just going to mute you, Michelle, because we're in the flow here. All right. And so as the eyes close and become aware of the fact that the tip top of your head, what they call the crown, or the 1,000-petaled lotus, or the bai hui in Chinese, there's just importance there at the very tip top. The chin bowing slightly down allows the crown to be more pronounced up, right? So sometimes when I say lengthen up through the crown, people lift the chin up, and that actually does the opposite of what you want. So there's this little sort of inward, downward bowing of the head that lengthens up through the back of the neck and up through the crown. And then we want to align that tip top of the crown above the perineum, or the middle in-between place of the floor of the pelvis. Think of those two as a positive end of a battery and a negative end of a battery, and you want them to be aligned. And then with those aligned, what you'll find is that can hold you up so that you don't need all that shoulder tension, all that chest and back gripping. And that's so important when we walk and stand and climb stairs and take hikes, is that we are not tense up high, creating a top heaviness to us, which makes us easy to topple left or right. So the more empty our shoulders, the more empty our chest and back, and almost in a way, the heavier our lower body, meaning we let our body weight go through the legs down then you'll find you can actually feel sturdy and stable and connected to your root, connected to the ground. So to help with that, we'll just do a brief rendition of the joint mobilization that we do in more exhaustively in another class on Friday. The class on Friday is more exhaustive about that. But let's just do sort of your basics here. So open the eyes now, hands rest on your knees, and leading through the fingertips, just slide your hands past your knees, dropping around the head, open the back. So just get your spine to be round. And then go the other way. Slide the hands back, the elbows back, shoulder blades back, and lift. And now look up towards the sky, arched back. Let's just do that 2 more times. Slide the hands forward. So think of this as decongesting, decompressing. Go ahead and slide the hands back and arch the back. And slide the hands forward and round the back. And arch the back. And then find the middle. Now from the middle, slide the left hand forward, the right hand slides back, and just turn the body like you're trying to look over your shoulder. And then reverse that. Slide the right hand forward, left hand back, turn and look over the shoulder. And switch. So see if you can keep that vertical line, right? So notice if you're tipping forward, can you keep that vertical line and then just rotate around that vertical line. And then slide and rotate around that vertical line. And back to neutral, and let the arms hang by your side. Now just a soft leaning. As you lean to your right arm just softly lengthens down closer to the floor. And then we come back up to center. So try to make it not a forward bowing, but just a sideways experience, just very soft. So you're not going to get nearly as far, right? If you try to get too far, you're probably folding forward like I am now. If you look at me here, you don't want to do this. You want to be vertical and then just softly lean. And then vertical and softly lean. And vertical, softly lean. One more of each. Just soft. Not too far. And soft. There you go. And back to center. So now we sort of loosened up this upper body, right? Now shoulders, shrug both up. Melt both down. Shrug up. Melt down. Now we do shoulder circles. Shoulders go forward, up, back, down. Forward, up, back, down. Think of this again. You're just like unpacking whatever you're holding on to at the deep nooks and crannies of the tissue. One more. And then switch directions. Go the other way. We go back, up, forward, down. So the shoulder blade's going up, forward, down. Last one. Now we fold at the elbows, bring the hands up, chicken wing, out, and maybe even up a little bit. And then down and around and in. Squeeze together. So this helps just clean out layers and nooks and crannies in the shoulders and the chest. Squeeze. Touch your elbows together if you can. And then down and lift. And down and in. Now pull the elbows behind you. And then down. And then forward and possibly up. And then down. And forward and possibly back, down, forward, and up. Finally, release. Good. And then from here, scoot to the back of your chair. So you scoot back so you can make sure you feel sturdy. And then we do our legs here to open the legs up. Bring the right knee up, right heel close to your buttocks. So your hands can either be grabbing the chair or here or just resting somewhere comfortable wherever you want them, right? And then set that foot down. Let's go the other side. It's called chamber. Down. Notice that you sort of shift your weight in your buttocks so you're more established here, and then you can lift, lower, and then you sort of shift, lift, lower. Now, shift again, lift here, push the foot out, return the foot in and down, switch, chamber, push, chamber, reverse. One more of each. Now, do it again and hold the foot out there. Point, flex. Then what's called invert, evert. This little movement. Notice my leg isn't moving. My foot is, though. Then circles. Notice again, the leg isn't moving. The foot is. Circle the other way. Circles. Switch. Put that foot down, other leg goes out, point, flex. Notice leg stable, foot moving. Then invert, evert. Leg not moving, foot moving. Then circles, same thing, leg stable, foot mobile. Switch directions on those circles. And down. Good. Now, swivel steps. Lift the ball of your left foot, so the toes and the ball of the foot, and then turn on the heel, turn the leg out, turn the leg in. Again, out, in, out, feel it in the hip. That's where the movement's coming from. External rotation, internal rotation. External, internal. And switch legs. Now lift the toes and ball of the right foot. External, internal, external. And notice that the leg goes past neutral and even turns in, sort of a collapsed in position. And then external, internal. One more. Now, step the feet just a touch wider apart. Let's do both. External. Lift the toes, internal. So you get this little pigeon toe position. External, internal. We don't want to be congested here. The stiffer we are in the hips, the less we feel like we can change our weight with subtle shifting, subtle differential. The more stiff, the more we sort of feel like robots that have to really tip in order to change the weight. But the more open these gaits all the way down, the more we can just change with subtle adjustments of alignment. Very subtle, right? All right, back to neutral. Now, forward fold, hinging at the hip crease like you're bowing forward. Open up your buttocks, your lower back, make that hip hinge something you get a very good awareness for. Come back up to sitting vertical, then tipping back. And notice here at the hip, this is a more obtuse angle. When you come back to vertical, it's a 90-degree angle, and then you make it an acute angle. And then come up to 90, and then go obtuse. Lean. And then 90 and acute. Good. Now this, we combine, remember this exercise where we were doing spinal rounding, spinal arching, we put that with the hinging of the hip crease, and that becomes shaking loose heavenly pillar. And this is key for walking because, again, we're stiff often, but the looser we can be, right? The looser we can be, the more we feel light up top and heavy and grounded on the bottom. So watch what I do for a whole round and then you'll join me. I'm arching and my elbows are back. I fold at the hips. Notice I'm still arched. My head is still up, but keep watching. Don't do it yet. Then I round. And now I completely let my head hang. Notice I'm coming up, but I'm allowing my spine to stay in the rounded position all the way till I'm vertical. Then chest and head lift, and I arch again. So now go ahead and join me if you're ready. Fold, and then round. Stay round as you lift, and then once you're up, then arch, and then stay arched as you fold, and then round, and stay round as you lift, and then arch. Let's do 3 more. Eventually, it just becomes this natural gesture of shaking loose, shaking loose. The next time you are vertical, stay vertical. Let's do our final couple exercises here before we get up. Now, step the legs wide, feet pointing forward-ish, hands resting on the legs like this. Notice how my elbows, I'm not here, I'm here. Create that shape, and then fold in the hips, bow forward, and even round the spine a little bit. And then come up. Arms to neutral, lean back. And then forward, turn the arms into this dragon position. And bow. And then up. And lean back. One more. Forward. Get that position of the arms. And then forward. And up. And back. And finally, the dragon stirs the sea. This one really helps us get our body free. Bow your chest towards your right knee. Then sweep it through. And then lean back and come around. And then bow and sweep it through. Let's do 2 in each direction. There's your 2 to the right. And let's go 2 to the left. And we are back to center. So these are all familiar to those of you who come to the Friday class. We spend more time in them, but it's good that we just get all those spaces warmed up and free. Now, sitting at the edge of your chair, back your feet up. When it's time to stand up, we think, oh, first thing should be back your feet up a little. So this is an acute angle at the knee rather than a sort of a perfect 90. We want to tighten that angle up. Once you got that, then it's think forward fold. Hands can even go a little out beyond your toes because we need weight that way to get the weight out of the butt. Then from here, push through the ground to rise. Now, when it's time to sit down, first thing you should think of is butt back, but head forward. Then the sinking of the butt, keeping the head forward allows you to stay balanced all the way down. And then it's time to sit back to neutral. So let's do that 4 more times. Fold, gesture forward off the chair, then push through the ground to rise. Then fold without bending your knees yet. Then sink the butt, and that's what bends the knees. Find the chair, and then sit back. 3 more. Go ahead. I gotta adjust my camera. Now, to really free our body up, let's do some squats. But what we add to the squat, so the squat is as if you're gonna sit in your chair and then you decide, no, I'm not gonna. You stand back up, but then we even push the hips forward a bit and arch the back. And then the butt goes back and sink. And then we come up and push the hips forward and let your body gently arch back, loose upper body, light upper body, and let the weight get down through the legs to the earth. So you feel rooted. One more. And we're up. Good. And stand in the middle. Now, got your chair. I'm going to turn mine this way for now. So get to where you're able to be at the back of your chair. And we're either going to be turning side or we're going to be facing the chair. Various little exercises like that. But one I want to add today is from the back of your chair, we do a downward facing dog stretch. So watch what I do here. My hands are resting on the chair for stability. Walk the feet back and then stick the butt back, right? And your arms stay straight and you get a nice stretch through the hamstrings, through the back of the body, through the shoulders. Helps to open us up. And then lift the chest up and walk your feet back in towards the chair. Now you got hand on the chair. I want you to rock forward into your toes and then lift your heels off the ground. And then lower down. Rock back to your heels. Keep the hands on the chair for safety and pull the toes up so you're only in your heels. And then forward into your toes. Lift. Down. Back into your heels. Lift the toes. And again, forward and up. Some of you might even play with, hey, I feel pretty balanced. Could I just do fingertips on the chair? Or even someday, right, be safe. But someday you can even play with no hands, right? But be very careful with that, especially the back direction, right? Okay. Now, we're ready here. Next exercise is, let's see how best to show it. So now face and have your hands supporting. And you just need enough support to now allow you to change your weight to the right leg. Lift the left heel, even get up to your tippy toes. Put that foot down with no weight, and then change. Heel lift, get to the tippy toe, put the foot back down completely, and then change. So we're creating, we're discerning between when the foot is lifting and when it's getting back to the floor with no weight. Then we're discerning, okay, and then I put the body weight or allow the body weight into it, which empties the other foot, and then that's when I lift. That's when I put down and then shift. Let's take that a step further. Lift the heel, possibly disconnect the toe from the ground and put it back down, put the heel down, then change. Now, I believe I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it many times, that changing weight from left leg to right leg, we might think has a lot of side to side involved. But really what it is, it's a little bit of sideways movement, and the bulk of it is down. But it's not down like pushing down. It's down like allowing it, opening up. So when you shift over just enough to be sort of on top of one leg, and then open the hip, open the knee so the knee bends just a touch, open the foot, feel the ball of your foot connect to the floor, then lift the empty foot, lower the empty foot. then shift that little bit sideways, and then open hip, open knee, open ankle. Ball of foot is the bubbling spring, is the bullseye, and then you lift and you lower. And then you shift somewhat sideways, but mostly it's opening up, letting it through, lift, lower. So again, you can have your hand on your chair for this, and that'll allow you to really play with it, okay? Good. Now, our next exercise. So I'm just changing my angle so you can see. Hopefully you guys have an angle that you can just work from. So now, have your right hand on the chair or whatever, one hand, and then the opposite leg, swing. Swing. And notice when I swing, sometimes what I see is people swing forward, bring it back to about here, and then bend the knee, as opposed to look at the leg going behind, like a pendulum. Let the leg go behind where the hip is. Swing, loose, 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 easy and loose. So you're swinging the leg, and then let's switch. Swing the leg. Remember this thing, don't let the knee bend, don't stop here and bend the knee. Hip, so feel the ball and socket joint. Swing, 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 swing. And then switch again, turn. Now watch what I do here. I'm swinging, but now as I swing back, I stay back, pull the heel up, bring the foot forward, and extend the foot forward. So now I'm going shoom, sort of like skateboarding movement. But what this does is it frees up the hip, the knee, the ankle, the foot, and allows them to move through their wheel-like motion. They're like a wheeling gesture. All the joints are like circles and wheels, right? And then we switch directions on that. Forward, up, tuck, and then this is key. The foot reaches back, and then we let it swing, tuck, and reach. Swing, tuck, and reach. Feel those wheels. Wheel, 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 wheel. And we switch. So start with the swing. And then the next time it's back, heel, knee comes forward, foot goes out, sweep, sweep. So the wheeling gesture. Switch directions, forward, tuck, and then remember this, reach back. Don't put the foot on the ground, swing it through. Reach back, swing, 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 swing. And done. Now, facing the chair, this leg, out, in, out, in. Abduct, adduct. Abduct, take away, adduct, bring back. Switch. Change. This is now empty. From the hip. Root. And change. Now, this leg forward, circle, and back in. So it's forward, out and around, back forward. So draw a circle on the floor. Circle. And other direction, circle. Switch legs. Forward, out and around, circle. Other direction, circle. Just skating the foot on the floor. Slightly hovered. Now we close that exercise with sink chi to the belly. Wings, roll, fold, settle, 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 settle. Pause with the hands right at the belly button height or navel height. All right, and then your arms release. Let them just hang softly. Now again, I'm going to turn at a slight angle so you guys can see me. And you're going to want the chair. Some of you will want the chair. One hand on the chair. And we're basically going inside leg, out in front. The heel touching. Body weight shift forward. But remember, it's somewhat forward, but mostly it's about letting it get through to the ball of the foot or the bubbling spring. And then shift back. Remember, somewhat back, but mostly down, through. Forward. Bullseye, hit the bullseye. Back, this is level 1 because we're not picking anything up off the ground yet. The heel and the toe stay connected to the ground. Now let's go for level 2 if you'd like. Heel disconnects, reconnects, shift. Same thing with the toe. Disconnect, reconnect, shift. Disconnect, reconnect. Shift. This is level 2. As we move up the levels, please feel free to stay at whatever level you're saying, ooh, that's kind of challenging. And then if I go to level 3 and level 3 just discombobulates, that's not worth it. Now, level 3, if you'd like it, not only lift, but tuck in and chamber. Remember how we chambered when we were sitting? And then extend the leg down, touch. Now here, very different. Chamber, bring that leg forward, and then reach that leg back, and then shift. Chamber, forward, shift, chamber, step back with no weight. So notice when I go back, I have to sort of recommit to this front leg, then I'm ready to go back. This is sort of more natural, right? That's just natural. It's like up and then it's there. Here, but then if I bring this leg forward as if I'm going to step forward, but then instead I go, no, I'm walking back, it just requires this little extra bit. One more. And then bring that left foot back. Let's switch. So again, for me, I'm going to rotate and walk to the other side of the chair so that you guys can see me. You have to figure out how best to do that for you. Now it should be your other foot forward. If you're using these your mirror, that would be your right foot forward. Shift, toe. So this is level 1. Keep the toe connected, then keep the heel connected. But do feel yourself differentiate between now I rely on that leg, and then I'm changing which leg I'm relying upon in the majority. Which is my support leg, which is my now ready to step leg, and switch it. So getting masterful with changing empty and full, yin and yang. That is the key to being able to walk safely everywhere, and the key to doing good quality Tai Chi. Level 2, lift, lower, shift. And remember, for some of you, it might just be a teeny little lift, nothing major. Others of you might feel like you want to really lift it, hold it, set it down, shift, bend and lift and balance for a second, then down, right? So you can always augment this to be easier or harder based on how you're feeling on the given day. So this is all level 2. We're getting this feeling of, is it truly empty? If not, you wouldn't be able to lift it without without losing your vertical axis, right? Level 3 now, chamber, down, shift, chamber, then reach back and shift, chamber, Now, when this foot goes down, don't let it be heavy and put weight in it. Land it and then choose to go into it. Chamber. Back. Shift. Shift. Back. Shift. Chamber. Last one. And bring that right foot back. Sink the chi. Arms up like wings. Roll. Fold at the elbows. The hands come up over. Settle, 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 settle to the navel. This is considered our middle belly button and deep into the belly and the belly button. The middle central channel, central reservoir for our life force. So we always bring our mind back here, bring the life force back here before we let it out to play again. Now set up just like we did a moment ago for the first side. So again, you'll notice I'm over here. Level 1 on this next exercise. Key to this one though is be a little further back on your chair so that you're just at the edge of being able to use it as support. Because now we're shifting, emptying the back foot, and then stepping one step forward. And then shifting and pausing. And we're doing that backwards. Shifting back, empty the front foot, float an empty foot, shift back, pause. Again, shift, float that empty foot, shift, pause. Some of you might even play with eventually no hand on any chair, but it's there if you need it. So it's shift, wait for the foot to be empty, float the empty foot, land an empty foot, shift. Shift back, wait, float, shift. Level 2, lift, lower. Now listen close. We shift, wait for it to be empty, small obstacle. Pick up the foot and step over like a little toy or a little tripwire or something on the ground. And then shift. And then here we lift, lower. And now we're going back, shift, establish, pick up the front foot, tuck, and reach back. Remember how I've been pointing that out. And then shift back, lift, down, shift, small obstacle. Pick up the foot over the top, shift, lift, lower, shift back, small obstacle, tuck, reach, shift, lift, lower, shift, obstacle, shift, lift, lower, shift, wait for it. Level 3, chamber, down. Now on the step forward, we sort of exaggerate that heel, knee, foot, down, shift. And then here it's heel and knee. So this is the end of the forward. And we go back, back, shift back, up, tuck, reach, shift back. Again, the hand could be on the chair the whole time, and then we're back to this. So now this is the beginning, this golden rooster position. And then we go forward. We do this sort of exaggerated bicycle and then land it empty. So we didn't fall into it. Empty. And then shift. And then we do half a step forward and we stop. Then we go back. Half step back. Shift. Then we do this full, exaggerated, almost ridiculous movement. And then tuck. And the more you get comfortable making these sort of overtly ridiculous, large, exaggerated movements, think of that like you're blazing a trail or you're hacking away, encroaching sort of like in the wild, right? The weeds and everything encroaching in. And so by you moving in these huge ways, the brain, you're just like pushing back this shrinking movement range, right? And now we're going to switch sides. So I'm going to walk over here. You just adjust where you need to. Ideally, though, you're not facing away from the camera. I saw a couple of you sort of doing the practice facing away. So be able to peek over at me because I'm often pointing little things out. So adjust your chair accordingly. So you can even do it just like me, where the back of the chair is facing the camera and you're going left to right, right to left, that kind of thing. So level 1, single step forward and back. So shift, wait for it, and just very casually let the foot float through. Heel touches, shift, pause, shift back, very casual, wait for it to be empty and just float it back, soft, and then shift. So feel the differential. I'm shifting into this leg here. That's my support leg. So now this one is not needed on the ground, so it can freely swing forward. And then shift. Same thing on the way back. I got to wait for it. I shift back and let the weight get through. Then I go, oh, well, I don't even need this leg. So cool. It can step back and then shift. 2 more, level 1. This is the most like regular walking. This little movement here. If we can keep the teacup on our head and just cruise along. Weight shift, weight shift. We're going to go for level 2 next. So that's lift, lower, shift. Small little obstacle up and over, shift. And then this is lift, lower, shift back, up. And then remember, this is important, just tuck. And then right here, when you reach back, notice that you have to sort of adjust your relationship to the front leg there before then stepping. Lift. So again, this is sort of natural. This is easy, this step forward. Even though there's some little rearrangement that's needed to walk forward, still, this is always going to require just a little extra moment right here of as the foot goes back, you sort of recheck your balance over this front leg, and then you're ready to shift. 2 more. Now we go for level 3. This. Down. Still no weight. Shift. Now this is empty, so it can go here. It can even go here. It can go here. Down. Shift. And then this foot here and here. And now this gives us an extra feeling of that stay stable as you reach back. Notice I didn't put any weight in it. I didn't fall into that leg. It's reach it, but stay here. And then go shift. Then again, reach it, but stay in your front leg. And then shift. And then chamber. Down. Again, forward is a little easier. Just kind of makes more sense to us because we do that more. Back. Shift, establish, tuck, reach, but stay established, back. Let's just do 1 more level 3. Teacup, just sitting on the head. The whole time you're just relaxed, bouncing that teacup. And sink the cheek. Hands, turn, up and over. All right. Now from here, you want to get to as far back on your chair runway as you can so you can take a few steps forward. Level 1. So one foot is in front. We go here, let it through. Here, let it through. Here, let it through. Here, let it through, and then back. Remember to wait for it to be empty. Shift, wait for it to be empty, then step it. Shift, wait for it to be empty. All right, this is where it'd be nice if you had a walker if needed, and you could just grab it and take 5, 10 steps forward, 5, 10 steps back. The walker backwards is a little trickier because it gets a little stuck. But anyway, the point being that eventually we want to be able to practice this without the limit of the chair. So back, notice we're walking backwards, walking forwards. Now, level 2, lift, lower. Now it's small obstacle, small obstacle, small obstacle, small obstacle, small, oh, and we go back. Small obstacle, small obstacle, small, small. One more, there and back. Level 2. Notice the weight change. Weight change. Weight change. Now, one time level 3. Tuck. Down. So now each step is this exaggerated. And reverse. Remember, this is that tricky one here where when you reach the foot back, you got to stay established, then shift. Tuck, and when you reach back, you stay in the front leg, and then shift. Reach. Reach. Good. And together. Sing chi. And just take a moment, have a seat in your chair. Just take a little momentary break. If you need a little water, get that. Remember how to sit. Fold, sink. Now, hands, rub pubic area, groin area, around the hips to the sacrum and tailbone and low back. And then down the thighs, backs of thighs, back of knees, outer knees, fronts of knees, inner knees, fold, lower legs, calves, shins, and then sweep the hands around the feet, come up the inseam, all the way back up. Take 3 breaths here. All righty. Next up is side steps. So standing up. Remember how to stand up. Feet come a little bit back. Hips hinge. Hands can go out a little bit. Forward first, and then root through the earth to rise to standing. Now, get yourself more to the side of the chair so that you have a runway. Let the weight go through the right leg. Left leg is empty. Out. In. Out. In. Now go out and stay out. Shift. Bring the right foot in. Out. In. Out. Now bring it in. Keep it in. Shift. Step out. Keep it out. Shift. Wait for the right foot to be empty, then bring it in. Shift. Out. Shift. In. Change. Out. Change. In. Change. And can still be on the chair. One more. Now, once we get to this sort of edge of the runway, we switch directions. Bring right foot in, go back out, and let's shift. Bring the left foot in, keep it in, shift into it. So the key is, can you step the foot and keep it empty, land it empty, and then put the weight through it. Step, keep it empty, change. Good, we're gonna do that again. I'm gonna face you guys so you can see it from a different angle. Out, change. In, change. That one's subtle, right? It's a lot of that down quality. Out, change. There's more lateral, but still needs to have that down. In, there's very little lateral, but I still need to get all the way through to the ball of the foot. Out, change. In, change. Out, change. So notice what I'm not doing. That's not happening. It's right, separate. Change. Now let's go back the other way. In, out, change. So differentiate or discern between changing weight. Now my right leg or this leg here is empty. Out. Then change. In. Change. I haven't stepped yet. Now I've changed the weight. Now I'm ready to step, but I haven't changed the weight. Now I change the weight, but I haven't stepped. Now I step, but I still don't change the weight. Now I change. Then I step. Now I change. Then I step. Now I change. Then I step. And then back to the middle of your space. And let's learn the upper body for the Tai Chi move that's included in that. Put your right hand behind your back. Left hand sweeps the leg. Rises up. Shift the weight and turn the belly button, turn the waist. That's the cloud. And the cloud rains down and fills up the leg. Shift to the right leg, turn to the right, the hand sweeps across the leg and turns to vapor, rises up and becomes a cloud. Shift to the left leg, turn the belly left, the hand's a cloud that then rains to fill up the leg. We haven't shifted yet. Shift, turn, sweep, and vapor. That's all sort of one gesture. And then shift, turn, cloud, rain. That's another gesture. Shift, turn, lake, vapor. Shift, turn, cloud, rain. Now, shift, turn, put that hand behind your back, bring the right hand out, and now shift, turn, lake. So make sure it goes lake, right down here, lake, vapor. And then shift, turn, and notice the cloud doesn't go above my head. It's chest tight. Cloud, rain. Shift, turn, lake, vapor. Shift, turn, cloud, and rain. Lake, vapor, cloud, rain. Lake, vapor, cloud, rain. Once more. Lake, vapor. Now, as the right hand is a cloud, left hand's in the lake. Bring the left hand out. So now it's cloud, lake, vapor, rain. Shift, turn, cloud, lake, vapor, rain. Cloud, lake, vapor, rain. Cloud, lake, vapor, rain. Couple more. Just remember, eventually we'll put this with our side steps. Instead of that, today we're going to do our rotational steps next. But Eventually this goes with more complex stepping below, and that becomes this very engaging Tai Chi practice. Now, right hand falls, both hands just come down, sink chi to the belly. Now, watch what I do here. This is a little bit tricky, right? So weight goes through the right leg. Now, left foot is empty. And again, you can have your hand on a chair for this, right? So I'll just put that there to show. This empty left foot, turn it out, turn it neutral, turn it in. Turn it neutral. So pick it up and turn it out. Pick it up and turn it back to neutral. Pick it up and turn it internal. So it's got this weird little sort of pigeon toe. You feel it in the hip here. And then back to neutral. Couple more. Out, neutral, in. And the whole time this leg is empty. I'm just sort of gently stomping, sending a reverb of awareness through. And let's switch legs. External, neutral, internal, neutral, external. From the hip, so loose leg, and it's really just from the hip all the way to the foot is one command, especially when you're relaxed. Make sure you have a good relationship between your torso and your standing leg so that this moving leg can feel light and feel empty. Some of you might even try no hands at some point. All right. All right, and we're going to switch one more time from neutral, change the leg, and now we're just going to go external, internal. So out, in, external, skipping over neutral to internal, external, internal, external. One more. Internal. Now go to neutral and change. Neutral, change. External, internal. You pick up the foot, turn, land it. Pick, rotate from the hip, land. Back to neutral. Boom. Okay. Now, put that into action. Watch what I do here. Right leg, external. Shift onto the right leg and square myself to the right. Do that again. Right leg turns out. So you got to empty the right leg, turn it out, and then shift onto it. Excuse me. And bring the left foot around to match it. Empty the right leg again, turn it out, shift onto it, square. Right leg turns out, shift onto it, square. Again, right leg out, shift onto it, square. Right leg turns out, shift onto it, and square. Again, this is where a nice cane would be nice, or you have to have your hand on the chair sort of wrapping around your back, right? So this is why I'm saying if you have various balance implements, you can pull them out as needed. Now, after you finish that second time around to the right, let's go to the left. Empty the left foot, turn it out. Shift and align. Empty the left foot. Shift and align. Empty left foot, turn it out. Shift and align. Empty the left foot before you step it, then turn it out. Shift and align. Go around one more time to your left. add a new one today to finish. So watch what I do, please. My front foot is empty. My back leg is sort of a little bit bent like a loaded spring. And watch what I do here. I push off and I sort of do like an advancing step, like a little bit of a, right? In like boxing, for instance, they do that. They push forward or they push back, right? That's how you advance. It's an athletic type of movement. And so we're using it to reload some gunpowder into these legs. So this foot is empty and it stays empty and you sort of advance, right? And so you can do this with your hands on the chair. It's right there for you. And you advance, right? And then the opposite is true as well. Back foot empty, retreat. And notice you sort of drag the foot with it. You go push, and this back foot you sort of drag in, but you keep it empty. And then you have this loaded front leg and you push and you drag it back. Advance. Retreat. So advance and stay loaded in that front leg and then retreat. Advance. You might even think teacup. Could I keep pretty good control of my teacup as I advance and retreat? Good. We're going to switch sides. I'm turning around. Inside leg is the empty foot. I've got the chair where it's there for support. Advance. Pause. Feel the front leg slightly bent like a loaded spring, how a spring would be ready to spring out. Same with that leg. And then use that to retreat. And then advance. Retreat. So you get a little bit of ballistic is the term they use. Ballistic or power. You're going power. And then power. So everything we've done so far has been more technique, right? Getting out of the way, form, slow, steady. But then this is a little bit of athleticism of push and push, right? Push and push, push and push, push. This is advance and this is push, retreat. And then finally, same explosive movement laterally. Push, right? So I'm loaded up here. This leg is empty. Push. This one's empty. Push. This one's empty. Push. Push. So just try to load and explode. Take a second to load and then explode. Second to load and explode. One more. Come back to your even standing, sink chi. Seal the practice. One hand on belly button, other hand over that hand. Have a seat. And then once more, do that self-massage, groin area, pubic area, inguinal region, around the hips, tail, hips and back. And then we do a little massage here where the hands come around to the front, thumbs on the inseam of the thigh, middle finger squeezing the outside, and you sort of gently squeeze and dredge those channels all the way down. Come around the feet to the inner, come all the way up again to the groin area, go around the hips, rub the tail, sacrum, low back, and then let's do that again. The hands come around to the front of the thighs, dredge the channels past the knees, down the shins to the ankles, go around the feet and softly back up. And last one, dredge around. And then we do this gesture here, up the outer arm to the shoulder, turn that arm palm up, come down the inner arm off the fingertips. Do that 4 more times. Up the outer, turn, down the inner. Up the outer, down the inner. And then we switch. Up the outer, turn, down the inner. Up the outer, down the inner. And last time, sink chi to the belly. And the seal, you put the center of your palm, known as the Lao Gun point, over the belly button. The other Lao Gun point over that Lao Gun point. 3 breaths here. Eyes gently closed. Thank you so much, everybody. Well done. Have a marvelous rest of your day and week. Hope to see some of you on Friday. Always feel free to reach out with questions via email or anything like that. And if we want to chat a little bit after, you're more than welcome. You can unmute yourself and ask any questions. But I also understand people have places to be. So you can just sign out if that's appropriate for you.
Quick
Any
question.
questions?
That was wonderful.
Thanks, Nick.
Secondly, when is your Friday class?
It's noon.
At noontime.
Yeah, 12 to about 1.
Okay. Maybe I'll find out which one I can make.
Yeah, come check them out. I mean, they're complementary. There's a little bit of overlap, but they really sort of